Hey everyone, today we're sharing a very interesting tea from Tokushima. Tokushima is on the eastern side of Shikoku Island, which is just south of Honshu, the main island of Japan. This tea is very interesting because it's fermented, but unlike this guy, which is a tea from Hunan, and it's a product of an aerobic fermentation. You can see the aspergillus here. The tea from Tokushima is a product of an anaerobic fermentation. So it'll look like, yeah, there you go. It's a very different kind of result. This tea is made by a gentleman called Ikawa, and he's a fifth-generation farmer. There are very few people who still make this kind of tea. It's extremely interesting, and I find it really pleasant. So a more traditional way of making it is with a hot water, and it's bancha. It's not a really delicate tea, so we are going to blast it with boiling water. I think that 4 grams of leaves and 240 milliliters of water is a good ratio. We're just gonna let it brew here. You can see the leaves. They're larger leaves. They're from cedar trees, which pretty much means that they grew by themselves, that they have no known cultivar. The trees are, they're kind of messy and they don't look like the very manicured Japanese tea plantations, which I find fascinating and cool. We're going to leave this thing for about 3 to 4 minutes. If you forget about it, it's okay. It's a pretty tasty tea even if you oversteep it. The tea will have some notes of kelp. You can definitely taste the ocean. It'll also feel a bit like hay, like fresh wet hay. And because of the anaerobic fermentation, it'll have some notes of acidity. So sort of like a little bit of hibiscus on the back of the tea. Now, while this brews, I'm going to explain another way of doing this, and that's with a cold brew. So because this tea, it's fermented in these old cedar barrels. I have no idea how old they are, but they look ancient. And the cedar barrels are inoculated already with these microorganisms that make the tea, and this is it's actually alive. So another way of drinking it, using these things in cold water. I like 6 grams per liter. Just get any mason jar, load it with this thing, shut it down, shake it a bit, stick this thing in the fridge and wait. You wait like 24 hours? Next day, you filter this thing and just drink it. It'll make a very different brew. It'll taste completely different versus the hot steep, in the sense that it's going to be a bit more sour. It's going to be very fresh, very light. I find it just a very refreshing drink to take throughout the day. If you're into mixology and all, there are a billion things that you could do with it. I personally like it with bitters, grapefruit and hops from my good friends at Bitter Sling. It's just a very, very enjoyable cold drink. Now, it looks like it's pretty much there. It's already been extracted. And strainer. You could also decant. You can see there's not much floating stuff in this guy, but let's pretend I'm civilized and let's strain. The brew will look light, almost like when you're doing lightly oxidized oolongs or yellow tea. I find it a really, really nice tea for rainy days like today.